This video was taken uh, 2 years ago, or to be exact, May of 2019, way before the COVID pandemic, which wrought havoc to humankind. And we took this trip starting from Chicago, Illinois, when we rent a minivan and then drive it through Michigan and cross to the Canadian border. And this is how it is before the COVID pandemic. Crossing the border circa 2019 is really not a big problem, but be sure to declare everything. If you are returning to Canada by commercial aircraft, you will receive a Canada Border Services Agency declaration card to complete before you land. These cards are also used at some location for travelers arriving by train, boat, or bus. If you have any question about the card or Canadian regulation, please ask the Border Services officer when you arrive. If you arrive in Canada in a private vehicle such as an automobile, an aircraft, a boat, or a bus, you can usually make an oral declaration. If you are declaring goods claimed as part of your 7-day per Canadian dollar, Canadian $800 exemption that arrive in Canada before you or will arrive after you return to Canada, ask the Border Services Officer for a BSF 192 Personal Exemption CBSA Declaration. You will need your copy of this form to claim these goods. Otherwise, you may have to pay the regular duty and taxes on them. The form will only be completed by Border Services Officer at the CBSA port of entry. This form is not available online. If you arrive at selected international airports, you can make an on-screen declaration using a primary inspection kiosk. Scan your travel document, take your photo, and answer a few questions to complete your declaration. And if you use our eDeclare mobile app, you can reduce your processing time by the kiosk by 50%. If you arrive at an airport without the kiosk, you will receive a Canada Border Services Agency declaration card to complete before you land. If you do not declare or falsely declare goods, the CBSA can seize them. This means that you may lose the goods permanently or that you may have to pay a penalty to get them back, depending on the type of goods and the circumstances involved. The CBSA may impose a penalty that ranges from 25% to 80% of the value of the seized goods. The Custom Act provides Border Services Officer with the authority to seize vehicles that were used to import goods unlawfully. When this happens, the CBSA imposes a penalty that you must pay before the vehicle is returned to you. If you do not declare tobacco products and alcoholic beverages at the time they were imported, the CBSA will seize them permanently. The CBSA keeps a record of infraction. If you have an infraction record, you may have to undergo a more detailed examination on future trips. You may also become ineligible for the Nexus and Canpas private aircraft program. If your goods were seized and you wish to dispute the action, You can appeal by writing a letter to the CBSA within 90 days of the date of the seizure. You can find more information about the appeal process on your seizure receipt form. If you are suffering from a communicable disease upon your return to Canada, or if you have been in close contact with someone with a communicable disease while out of the country, you are obligated to inform a border services officer or a quarantine officer who can determine if you require further assessment. If you have been ill while traveling or become ill after your return to Canada, inform a Canadian doctor that you have been abroad, where you were, and what, if any, treatment or medical care you have received, like, for example, the medication, blood transfusion, injection, dental care, or surgery. Before bringing highly valuable items with you when you travel outside Canada, you may wish to take advantage of a free identification service that is available at all CBSA offices. This service is available for items that have serial numbers or other unique markings. If the items do not have these markings, the CBSA can apply a sticker to them so that they can be identified for custom purposes as goods that are legally entering Canada. When you show your valuables to a border services officer and state that you acquired them in Canada or lawfully imported them, the officer will list the valuables and their serial numbers on a wallet-sized card called a BSF 407, Identification of Articles for Temporary Exportation. This form is only available at the port of entry. If you are questioned about your goods when you return to Canada, show your card to the officer. This will help identify the valuables that were in your possession before leaving the country. Under the custom legislation, if you take any item outside of Canada and change it in any way to enhance its condition or value, the CBSA does not consider it to be the same item when you bring it back into the country. You therefore have to declare the full value of the new item. This is, for example, you take an old diamond ring with you on a trip outside of Canada. While outside of Canada, you decide to have the diamond taken out of the old ring and placed in a new setting. This is not considered to be a repair or an alteration. It is considered to be further manufacturing or processing. When you return to Canada, the original ring, which is now just a metal setting with no stone, will be considered to be a returning good because it has not been advanced in value. In fact, it has decreased in value. The new ring will be considered to be new item and therefore must be declared accordingly even though it contains part of the original ring, which is the diamond that originated in Canada. The CBSA will treat the new ring like any other piece of jewelry purchased outside the country, and the duty and taxes owing will be calculated and the full value of the new ring, including the diamond that was exported from Canada. These rules applies unless you have received previous authorization from the CBSA to have the new ring made while outside the country.
Good morning.
Where do you live?
We're from California, and some from Chicago.
Where are you guys going?
The Falls,
How long you gonna be in Canada?
one night. Back tomorrow.
Where are you coming from right now?
Where are we coming from? Chicago. We flew from California to Chicago. We have relatives in Chicago.
You have any idea how much is the exchange rate? Hi. Hi.
He's been a bad boy, that's
Thank
why.
you. Say thank you.
All right.
Have a good trip. Be a good boy.
Oh, good boy. See?
See?
See? Don't cry. Don't cry, huh?
Alright?
Oh?
Alrighty,
Oh.
bye-bye.
Oh.
Thank you. Ay, hindi pwede kayo nag-ano pa to.
Every traveler entering Canada has a key role to play in protecting Canada's animals, plants, and environment. Many travelers are unaware of the hazards and failing to declare food, plant, and animal products. But the risk to Canada's food supply, economy, environment, and human health are very real. They threaten the food supply. They threaten Canada's agriculture, industry, and economy. They threaten the environment and natural resources. Now let us fast forward to the present, August 2021, at the height of the COVID pandemic. After more than 16 months, Canada lifted its prohibition on non-essential U.S. travelers crossing the U.S. Canada border Monday. Some have been separated from family members for the time, including people less than an hour's drive away, so they took advantage of the reopening as early as midnight. But early eager travelers were met with long lines at some crossings where hundreds of vehicles caused waits as long as 7 hours. Traveling across the border requires documentation, which contributed to the lines. Clearing each vehicle past the border could take up to 40 minutes. Only tested and vaccinated U.S. citizens and legal residents are allowed through. At the border, travelers must present proof of vaccination, a recent pre-arrival coronavirus molecular test result, and information on the ArriveCan app, including a 14-day travel history. They also may be required to take a test on arrival, according to the Canada Border News Agency. Although Canada is allowing a flow of U.S. travelers, the United States has yet to reciprocate. As I pause here, I hope you enjoy our ride. Don't forget to watch my next episode and please hit the red subscribe button below, for it means so much for me. Until next time, thank you so much.